Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In our previous lesson, we discussed the plot of the novel Devil on the Cross, as well as the characters and the roles that each character play in the novel. Today we are going to be discussing and analyzing the major themes in the novel. Please subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so that you get notified when the video on the literary devices used in the novel is uploaded. So today we are going to start with the first theme, the role of women in post-colonial Kenya society. So in the novel, the author Ngugi is critical of gender inequalities in post-colonial Kenya, and through the central role of sugar girls in the context, including the heroine of the novel, Waringa herself, Ngugi shows us just how easy it is for girls to succumb to the temptation of wealth, as well as the harsh consequences of ruining one's life and even death. For instance, Waringa, the heroine of the novel, attempted to commit suicide because of the situation and the frustration she encountered during the novel. And it was a great temptation, and women were commodified. Let me use that word, commodify. It is a form of commodity where the body of the women are prized by men. And that was why Waringa has to have a sexual affair with the old rich man from Ngorika. So moreover, this gender power dynamic is not just limited to sugar relationship in the text. In Waringa's tale of traveling to Nairobi for work, considers the way in which she too is sexualized and told that she should sell her body rather than find real work. Also, in many cases, that the exploitation of women in post-colonial Kenya is explicitly linked to imperialist and tourist aim. For example, the Love Hotel to be built on the land of the communal garage, and Waura's recollection of serving a foreigner as he pick up women with his mutatu boss. And also there is a gender disparity between the narrator and the subject of our tale, Waringa. So we already know through his false start that he is not the most reliable of narrators. But how can we be sure that he accurately represents Waringa, how Waringa think, says and does, especially in instances where she was alone, as with the devil or the rich man? So the narrator could not say everything, though he tried. So we saw that narrator on some instances portrayed the woman as commodity. But can we really believe and absolutely rely on the narrator's perspective of women in post-colonial Kenya? I will leave that for you to decide. And also, we have the theme of communalism and Marxist ideology in the novel. So the author is unequivocal in voicing his Marxist sympathy in the novel. So in terms of actual Marxist and communist thought, then we saw that the author is also unequivocal in his support and his belief in the restorative power of a workers' revolution. So by showing us characters like Muturi and Wangari, and by comparing them with people like Waura and Wireri wa Mukurai, the author invites our sympathy with the peasant and revolutionaries who work hard for everything they have and do not prey on the property of others. So Ngugi also does this by showing us the destructive effect of neocolonialism, such as sugar relationship, murders, firing of guns, and also setting up comparison between the ultra rich and the ultra poor. So his faith in the collective and communal is also clear, even from the opening chapter, which suggests that the collective of people is as holy and powerful as God himself. And in page 3 of my version of the novel, we say the voice of the people is the voice of God. So the collective and the communal kept down only by the deception of those at the top. Otherwise, they will easily free themselves and take revolutionary action as they turn from victim to hero, as Waringa does towards the end of the novel. And we can regard Waringa as a victor because he successfully put an end to the exploitation and corruption by killing the old rich man from Gurika. Also, another theme in the novel is that of instability and corruption. Perhaps more than anything else, the novel is a biting satire directed against the powers of neocolonialism, instability, and the corruption that is bred by a faulty process of decolonization. So, as Ngugi shows us through characters like Boss Kihara, the rich old man from Ngorika, and the local tycoons present at the Devil's Feast, that even after Kenyan native fought for the freedom during Mau Mau and expelled the white man after earning their independence, many black people are happy to work as the proxies of the white men behind the scene and giving up the appearances of self-rule, while actually exploiting local people in service of the foreign colonialists, former colonialists. So such corruption of the people against their own countrymen is not just morally wrong, it is in fact cannibalistic. And this is why the author links stories of neo-colonial exploitation and corruption to the stories told in the novel of man eating ogres, monsters, and witches, and indeed through details such as the parables of the talent, tycoon involvement in churches, and the devil's claim to Waringa that religion fosters complacency among the peasant, and since they believe they will be rewarded in the next life for humble servitude in life, Ngugi makes it clear that religion is not just tangentially involved in Kenyan neocolonialism, instability, and corruption, but rather play a central role in upholding and maintaining instability and corruption. And why the instability and corruption thrive in the post-colonial Kenyan society? Because the people have been indoctrinated into religion, especially Christian religion, and they believe that when somebody persecutes you and even exploits you, at the end of your life, you are going to be rewarded by God. And that was why instability and corruption took a deep toll in the post-colonial society of Kenya. Then another theme in the novel is that of money, evil, and good. So, as is clear even from its title, Devil on the Cross is a novel heavily invested in the conflict between money, good, and evil, both on earth and in a theological context, which is we can refer to as in heaven. So, in terms of material wrong that are done on the earth, the conflict between good and evil roughly maps for Ngugi, the author, to the conflict between capitalism, bourgeois life, and communal and peasant way of life. So, moreover, as one of the characters Muturi tells us in his stunning chapter 3 speech, good is not just the abstract force which drives people to love, but also the material result of that love in the world, which in turn sustains a community. So, evil, on the other hand, is passed as that which parasitically seeks to destroy what has been built by the forces of good. This emphasizes on material consequences and realities is inherent marxist. And it also translates to the author's theological position on good, evil, and money. So in the text, it is important to note that Ngugi accepts the notion of good and evil, and doing so help us to recognize that we ourselves are responsible in this life for either creating sadness, good, evil, or joy. And it allows us also to recognize good and evil more easily in others. So it also allows us to see something like crucifying the devil as possible, which implies that we may have distinct and real paths towards saving ourselves from earthly pain. So there were a lot of evil there. Fornication or sugar daddy, sugar girl relationship is evil. The desire to get money was what prompted such evil. And what are good there? Like Waringa, who put an end to corruption symbolically by killing the old rich man from Gorika. That is also another act of good in the novel. So another theme in the novel is that of a local tradition and the culture of the people. So Ngugi's text is also remarkable. That is, Devil on the Cross is remarkable in its incorporation and also prioritization of local Kenya, especially the Gikuyu tradition and culture. And from the very beginning of the novel, for example, the Gikandi player informs us by performing a traditional oral art that Waringa's story is not one that is meant for foreign ears, and that the story, like the land itself, belongs to the people of Umarog. Despite this unauspicious opening, however, we do hear the story, and it is one that is jam-packed with local fables, songs, and other cultural allusions, from Gaturia's planned national composition and areas of study to the stories he hears from the old man Bahati in Nakuru to the Kamungoye ballad and several others. So, in prioritizing such sidebars and digression from the main text and in incorporating many different genres together in one text, the author Ngugi wa Thiong'o lays the groundwork for a literature that rejects Western narratology and perhaps provides a potential answer to the perennial question of what African literature truly is. Moreover, in placing such a heavy emphasis on the primacy of local life, tradition, and culture, Ngugi also is telling us that the way forward from an exploitative globalism is a return towards more local ways of life, giving more care to the neighbors that one forms a communal life with, rather than embracing the individuality or individualization brought by the Western tradition and colonialism. So the novel also is a form of advice that people should return to their tradition and culture rather than embracing the capitalist neo-colonial individualism that has been bequeathed to Africa by the Western philosophy and notion of lifestyle. So these are the major four themes in the novel. We have another one like death. It's also a major theme in the novel because Waringa killed the rich old man from Ngorika. And then another one like sexuality or sexual escapade, which involve Waringa and the rich old man as well, when he was playing the sugar gear for the rich old man. And there are other themes in the novel. Well, I believe we are going to still do another video on the. We are going to still do another lecture on the themes in the novel. So ensure you subscribe to the channel so that you get notified. As well as we are going to do another video on the literary devices such as the narrative point of view and some other devices used in the novel. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you get notified when the videos are uploaded. Thank you and have a great day. Okay.